hour. Bryant. What's up, dude?
So,
All right. First off.
I got no. Hold on. I'm so glad you had an actual softball expert on today. I was so furious what was happening to you on social media, and we don't agree. People don't know. Like, we have private conversations where you agree, we disagree, that never make the airwaves, right?
That's correct.
There's never been any controversy you've ever been a part of where you were actually in the right and the other person.
Hey!
I'm sorry. Someone's got to say it. Look.
No, I've been on the right side of a lot of controversies.
Okay. But this one, I actually do agree with you, right? Like, don't ever yell at the umpires. And guess what? This is called Occam's razor, the simplest solution to a complex problem. Okay. If you don't yell at the umpires, guess what they can't do? Like,
throw you out.
They can't throw you out. It's simple. So I understand Georgia Clark is an LSU great. Totally get it. But you're a senior, and that changed the momentum of the game. And yes, it was a horrible call that she's right to be a part of. But I'm here to talk football. I want to let you know that publicly. I was like, God, this is just crazy. Did anybody actually watch the game? But anyway, Blake, I was going through history today, trying to find the best LSU drive in history, and I think I found it. I want to know, what is your favorite LSU drive when you think of the best?
3rd and 17.
So 3rd and 17, that drive. Okay. Yeah,
and it wasn't even really a drive, really.
Right. So
let me tell you my favorite over the last. Let's discount 19 because there's so many. Right. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Jane Daniels' pass in the corner of the end zone to Mason Taylor. It's better than the zone read touchdown. Yeah. That showed that you ain't scared.
That was so good. It really is up there. Like, everything about that drive. You know, even the throw to Kayshawn that drew the pass interference was so huge to back shoulder that, because they tried so many slot fades, and that was one that finally worked with Kayshawn in particular, even though it was a pass interference. Man, that was huge. That's definitely up there. It really is.
You know what I've noticed about Jane Daniels that we don't give him enough credit for?
Yeah.
Name the times that we were in crunch situations last year where he didn't provide.
The only game in crunch time where he was just not good was Texas A&M.
I agree. But you know what, Carter? I will take him being 4 of 1, and by the way, was injured. Okay, sure. Let's not dispute that. Okay, like, my man was hurting out there. Florida State, he wins 99 yards. Yeah. Ole Miss, he's down technically 17-3. They come all the way back. He's got to fight off Bryce Young in Alabama, and truth be told, he's a bad spot away against Tennessee from that game being 20-14 at halftime. Okay, I just think that he had so many clutch times last year that because he did not let some of the balls go deep downfield, we just don't talk about him, right? Like, not like that. Like, he has a negative connotation to it. So I do think that that's interesting. I was going to start off by saying that, you know, you grossed me out completely this weekend, like you normally do, and saying what's the worst dumps of all time that you could have. But I don't even want to bring my show there because it's been too good of a show to talk about you dumping. And what's the worst? But I will agree with you. It is crawfish.
Okay, thank you. It wasn't.
And your wife was fully embarrassed. She had to put her phone down, I heard. Sources confirmed.
That's fine. She's used to that. But there honestly, yes, true. Post crawfish boil the next day, you just be ready. But when you're at a Mardi Gras parade and you're in the middle of everything, and you have the runs, and it's
Oh
porta
my
potty.
God.
Next, but you squat like crazy, man. Like you could.
I've never in my life had a runs at a Mardi Gras. We're going to change the subject. We can't do this to ourselves. I can't do it. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. I can't do this. All right, Carter Bryant joining us. Mason Smith returning 8.5 months after he torn his ACL. Carter, I'm just going to tell you, as a man personally who's been over 300 pounds in his life, for a big man to be back that quickly is unreal.
Right. Yeah, and I'm lucky to know some people in sports medicine. The bigger you are.
Okay, never mind. I'm not going to ask you that, but continue.
No, yeah. So the bigger you are, it can be harder, right? And look, it all comes down to how hard you want to work. Like, to get back to where he needs to be, you have to put the work in, right? Especially, a non-contact one like that one. And the one thing I always say about Mason is he's always worked hard. Like, when he first got to campus, he changed his entire diet, right, to become, just an overall better athlete. So I love that, freaking do. And like you've been harping on, Blake, LSU needs more pass rush, especially at the defensive tackle position. And he's definitely one of the guys that can provide it. He was a great pass rusher, first drive versus UCLA. So if he can get back to even close to that shape, form, and fashion, LSU's got a pretty ferocious defensive line going into next year.
Jake Cole says for him the best drive was Florida Jacob Hester touchdown. I think that's a good one too.
That's a good one. That's a great one.
So for me, look, Carter, I just think you're better up front defensively. So now we're in May. We're getting so close to the season. We can really start talking about football, right?
Yeah.
Buddy, they're so much better up front. Jordan Jefferson, not named the quarterback. Savion Jones, I think, is an upgrade from Ali Gay. Mason Smith returns. Let's see what he can do. Mekhi Wingo, Deshaun Womack, you have guys that are out there on the edge. I just think you're better up front and you're deeper up front, which makes you better. This front seven has the potential to be something special with Omar Speights, Harold Perkins, and Greg Penn in there too. When you start looking at this now that we're getting really close, because, Carter, it's not going to be that long. We're going to be here. What do you think about this defensive line?
It's going to be great. It should be. Now, once again, it is going to be interesting. Obviously, these defensive linemen, they are going to go through a transition with the new defensive line coach. I don't think it's as big of a transition as if it was an offensive line coach just now coming in, where it is a lot more about continuity, as you know, from playing position, I think, or an offensive side of the football. But still, it's going to come down to how Matt and Jimmy want to work together. Obviously, these two are close, right? They've coached before in the past, so it should work out. Like, Jimmy and Matt go way back, and hopefully those two fit well together. And look, Blake, as much as we talk about, stop a pass, you also got to be able to stop the run first. And one big thing that people get wrong about, a lot of these SEC spread attacks, a lot of them are run-based first, right? We talked so much about Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman, Destin Hill, or the flashy new toys next to, Wilson on the outside. But Florida State likes to run the football. Alex Atkins and them, they like to get in between the tackles, and stopping the run is going to be very important to make passing downs a lot more easier.
Andre Sam commits to LSU. Carter, I got to admit, I really, 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 really like this kid.
Okay.
I think he's going to start.
Where do you think he's going to start?
I think they're going to try him at nickel. They're going to rotate him in there, and I think they'll have packages for him to come in. I think you're going to have to declare him as a starter. Buddy, listen, I was like, you know what? when I watch this kid's highlight film, I'm like, I don't want to go watch his highlight film. I want to go watch the Notre Dame game. I want to watch what he was doing when stats aren't involved in this. He covered, he tackled in space. Carter, I will be real with you. Outside of Omar Spates and Harold Perkins, he might be your third best tackler on this team. Like, I don't think that there's a debate for that.
He's also old, right? And that's good, right? He's year 7, and he's class of 2017.
Well, 6, right?
No, so class of 2017. So 2017,
Okay.
2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. So
Good Lord.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's been around, but he was a 0-star recruit who worked his way up, right? So I'm really excited to see him. I do agree with you, Blake. I don't think he's like a Chad Jones where he's going to be a center field deep safety. He's a guy that likes to get in the box and make plays, but he can give you some center field reps as well. Now, one thing, I know we're running out of time here, Blake, but
no, we're okay. Okay.
No, but look, I want to bring this up really quickly because you were bringing up Jaden a minute ago. So I won't go too deep into it. It's kind of like, the Kentucky thing I did a few months ago. There's so much that goes into what I'm about to say. LSU on third down last year.
Horrible.
Offensively?
Oh, no, defensively. We were on the defensive side of the ball, so I thought you were talking about defensively.
Okay. Offensively,
no, they were really, really good offensively. They were number 7 in the country, were they not?
They were up there, but what was interesting, Blake, was I was able to team up with some really good analytics guys, actually at State College, Pennsylvania, and we teamed up and we actually did something that we are going to release on the channel a little bit later. I'll send you some of the stuff after this. And LSU was very good on third down, which was
defensively or offensively?
Offensively. Defensively, there was a lot to be desired, but offensively, they were really good. And the one thing that they were really good at was not only third and shorts, but third and mediums. And one thing that Brian Kelly did a really good job of was mixing things up on third and medium, where, Josh Williams had the iconic run. We were talking about the Alabama drive a minute ago.
3rd and 7.
Third and 7. You never think run the ball on 3rd and 7. Not only did it work there, it worked in a spot versus Ole Miss in the third quarter. LSU was very innovative and ahead of the 8 ball when it comes to third down decision making. And there's so much more to it. I won't go too deep into it, but I'll be dropping a film study on that later this week. And a lot of it was Jaden. I will say there was one aspect, the third down decision making, where they weren't too great. We'll talk about that next week. But to end things, a little positively here, they were really good on third down offensively last year.
All right, last one, because I'll get to this with you very quickly because I won't get to it. Kevin Warren.
I haven't kept up, too much, but
you hadn't heard?
Well, yeah, I heard that he cost them a lot of money, giving them NBC, the Big Ten title game or something. It was crazy.
Not only did he give them the title game, he didn't have the signatures for NBC. And by the way, they don't own their rights. Did you know that the Big Ten does not even own their rights? Fox does.
Yeah, I'm always going to be defensive of Kevin Warren to a certain degree in 2020, right? Because
I'm the complete opposite.
Right. So there's just so much uncertainty, and it's your first year on the job. And what was it? Jim Delaney was the Big Ten commissioner before him. I think that was
just
his name.
As bad.
Yeah. So kind of a mess. Coming in, and boom, this happens. I do think, though, he was always in over his head, and being a commissioner of a conference, you sometimes have to, and one thing that commissioners do a bad job of is they always want to please everybody. But sometimes, like Greg Sankey, He's very direct. He's very strong in who he is and what he says. And Kevin Warren was a pushover, really. So a disaster. I read it vaguely, but I saw some of you and Mr. Delhone's takes on it. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. It's wild.
Idiot.
I'm just ready for Oregon and Washington to join the SEC. I'm ready. Geography doesn't matter. It's all about the Bucks, baby.
Tulane will enter the Big 12 before those two teams enter the SEC.
Would you fear Tulane as a Power 5 school?
No.
Really?
No.
They do become a factor if they get into the Power 5. I do think so. They're a factor now, but they're not a factor. They're not a factor with us
now. They do not have the resources.
But if they became a Power 5 school,
they don't have the infrastructure.
But it could start, right? You need
start where? Money. Where are they going to build? The stadium that they're at now went through legal proceedings because they weren't supposed to be able to do it. The mayor. The mayor is a buffoon when it comes to what Tulane needs.
She's the most unpopular mayor ever. Is she not? Like, I don't know anything about.
I think
so.
That's saying a lot. I mean, Mitch Landrieu is up there too.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. I do think Tulane, if they were a Power 5 school, I do think they could be a factor. I do. I mean, look,
they can factor D's nuts.
I
am not scared of a green wave.
I'm not scared of them now. I don't think I'll be scared of him anytime soon, but I do think if they became a Power 5 school, it would be a little bit easier to recruit the 504. I do, for them, as far as like being some of the better kids.
Yeah.
Look, to have the Power 5 monopoly over the state that LSU has had is always going to be the biggest reason why LSU is LSU, right? It's, as you know, Blake.
They are really Fritz away from sucking again.
Who, Tulane?
Yeah.
I think Willie Fritz is there to stay. Do you believe in them next year, Pratt, those guys? We need to play them again. Bring them back.
Yeah, I do want to play them and put 50 up on that ass and tell them who daddy is.
And they won't have Matt Forte this time, so we'll destroy them.
Neither will they have Tajay Spears.
Tajay Spears, yeah. It's still crazy to think that game was 10-9 at halftime.
Less miles, brother. Less miles.
Oh, man.
One day we need to go into just how greatly horrible of a coach he was. Oh, Carter, he won a crap load of games, though, dude. He won a crap load of games. You can't take it from him.
I think you can, though. I do. For this reason, okay? For this reason. It depends on your philosophy. If you are like Brian Kelly and you're a process over results kind of guy, or if you're like Nick Saban, you're a process over results kind of guy. There were so many victories that Les Miles won that did not abide by good process, right? We were not prepared. Meetings
as Al Davis once said.
So once again, win, baby, win. I give Les a lot of credit. He won a lot of games, but the process was never sound. We backed into a lot of victories. Obviously, we had a bunch of magical victories as well. But
Carter, here's the truth. You ready?
Yeah.
At the current moment, he is the most accomplished LSU coach of all time.
Okay. I would.
At the moment, he is the most accomplished. You can't take that away from him.
Is that due to talent?
It doesn't matter what he got the talent.
No. But that's due to longevity and scarcity, right? He was there longer. And there's not many people that are able to be the coach at LSU at any set point in time.
I get that.
Right.
I get that. I'm just saying we shit on him a lot, which we should.
Yeah.
But just don't get it twisted now. Like it's like me saying this. It's like me saying this. Let's just do this. Since 2010, who is the second best LSU quarterback of all time?
Second best since 2010.
Yeah.
It's either Jaden or Matt. Either one of those two. It's either Jaden or Matt.
Matt Flynn wasn't on the 10 team. Oh, Matt. Like Matt Burger.
Mettenberger, yes, not Matt. Matt, my bad. I always call him Matt.
Jaden. It's currently Jaden to me.
So you think Jaden's better than Matt? Or Zach Mettenberger?
Here's the problem. He's already got more touchdowns in the season. He's got almost the same amount of yards. He's got more rushing yards, and he won the West. Met never did. Accomplishments have to matter.
I would agree. I would also.
I don't want to hear about the offense. I don't want to hear about toss dive because you're in the offense that you're in. You're in the defense that you're in. Tyrann Mathieu benefited greatly from the defense that he was on. He played with 10 other NFL stars, not stars, but 10 more NFL draft picks.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can definitely make an argument that Zach's wide receiver running back combo is arguably it's definitely top 2 or 3. I mean, you can argue it's the best. The two best wide. You make an argument. Make an argument.
Bo this is giving him PTSD. You know what's interesting? Pierce Lee says Les Miles beat Saban 5 times. Who else can say that? That is interesting.
Okay. But timing also matters, right? He beat him 5 times, so he beat him.
Yeah, but you know what? You know
he beat
what you saying about Kirby right now?
What about him?
That he's overtaken Saban.
Yeah,
it took him 5 years.
Yeah, but
I mean, look, listen. It's not as if in 3 years that he didn't have Carter. He had 5 straight number 1 overall recruiting classes, and Les was still waxing that ass.
Les waxing who? Saban?
He waxed that ass. D'Angelo Peterson's still running.
Okay, so what years?
2011, 9-6. We waxed that ass.
We waxed him. Huh? Robert Kraft, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade were all in the building to watch that.
Were they really?
Yeah. So I was on the field for that game. I met Robert Kraft. When you meet a billionaire, they're not like the rest of the world. They're not. They're different.
I've met one, and they're
crazy. I think I've met 2 or 3.